Are you ready?
You better get ready.
Get ready to dive into the heart of local sports action. Broadcasting live from the heartland of Missouri. Welcome to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN.
Get set.
Because it's time to catch up on the latest local highlights, in-depth analysis, and interviews from the Boot Heel and beyond.
Get set. Here we go.
Good Saturday morning to you. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio. That's 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. You can also find us on the free SEMO ESPN app. It's a free download on your Google Play, Apple Store, whatever you do. Free download, free app. Check out the contest pages, weather. You can check out weather on there, the updated different news going on, promotions, different type of, prizes and things that we got going on through the app. The podcast page, you can go back and listen to all of our shows on the podcast page as well. All kinds of good things. The Listen Live link is right there, easy to navigate to. And you can toggle back between all of our sister stations as well. I love doing that. Hey, I want to listen to a little 93.9 The River, hey, or Mike FM, excuse me. Hey, go right over there. Switch back over to SEMO ESPN. Hey, Eric Sean's on Calling Squirrels baseball on KSIM. Move right over there. Love that about the app. They can just easy switch to one of the different channels as well. But hey, glad to have you join us this morning. Rusty Hendricks here in the SEMO ESPN studios, and got a little extra step, a little extra hitching my giddy up today. I am a little extra hop. I'm excited because today is my daughter's first birthday, turning 1 today. So, boy, what a whirlwind that was a year ago today. Something I will remember for the rest of my life. My first child, Raina Zane Hendricks, born right at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. on the dot. Pretty special, and love that I don't know, just all kinds of memories flooding through today, and hard to believe she's 1 year old today. 1 year old today. We got a party going on here tonight. Family coming together, some friends, and getting a little things ready a little bit last night. Going to do some more when I get home. So we're going to have a good time. Going to do a little smash cake for her. So we'll see. She's one that not sure how much she's really going to dig in and get kind of messy. She's probably going to, fill it out a little bit. So, but it'll be a good time. Going to be a good time. But our theme is berry first birthday. So strawberry. She loves strawberries. So gonna have that kind of a theme here today for her, Raina Zane. And so I gotta wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Raina.
Happy birthday, Raina. Happy birthday, Raina. Happy birthday, Raina. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Raina.
All right, so had to wish her a little happy birthday today. So again, my daughter, Raina Zane. All right, let's move on. Get through a little sport, shall we? I'm sure everybody's like, okay, move on. Okay, the Cardinals last night. We'll start with them here this morning. We'll talk about the Cardinals, a little move around Major League Baseball, and get into. Hey, did you see that SEMO Ball, Cole Lee, did a good job, put out the top 10 football teams for the preseason in high school sports? We're going to react to that list, okay? Coming up at 9:30, we're going to talk with the offensive coordinator for the SEMO football team, and John Holt. John Holt taking over for Jeremy McDowell, and get his thoughts on camp, how the SEMO football team's looking on the offensive side of the football. We'll talk to him at 9:30. And then 9:45, we're going to talk to Kyle Schwartz. He's one of the information directors, associate commissioner for strategic communications, media contact for football, men's basketball, baseball, men's soccer, men and women's golf, and cross country. Talking to him because big news this past week, Tennessee Tech leaving the OVC after this season. So they're going to play out this year, 2026. They'll be a part of the OVC. Then after that, they're gone. Going to go to the Southern Conference. We're going to react to that with him, get his thoughts on that, and want to ask him about, okay, what's the future look like for the OVC? So we'll talk about that coming up at 9:45. But first, St. Louis Cardinals. Compelling series, always a fun series against the Yankees. Fans like coming out for the interleague game against the Yanks. Of course, a historic franchise. Probably the two most historic franchises as far as winning goes. Most championships in the American League, 27 for the Yanks. The most championship of the National League, the Cardinals with 11. So the two most winningest franchises in their respective leagues going at it. But it was the Cardinals dropping it last night, 4-3, the final, as they have, again, a 3-game set here at home before they go on the road for 3 games against the Marlins and the Rays. But as we look at some of the highlights, let's get into it. One of the things coming in, a return for the former Cardinal in Paul Goldschmidt.
He spent 6 seasons with the Cardinals, quickly becoming a fan favorite while racking up numerous awards, including a Rawlings Gold Glove, Silver Slugger Award, and the 2022 National League Most Valuable Player. He also achieved his 300th career home run and 2,000th career hit while wearing the birds on the bat. Welcome back to St. Louis, Goldie Paul Goldschmidt.
So nice reception there. Was not playing, a little banged up as Goldie right now for the Yanks, but he had a nice reception, standing O, and Cardinal fans loving that. Goldschmidt coming back. As real quick, we get into Paul Goldschmidt. What did he do for the St. Louis Cardinals? Well, he spent 6 years for the Cardinals, and he was good. A .278 batting average overall with a .360 on base. Goldschmidt had, let's see here. He had 153 home runs, 477 RBI. So he's a guy that's in line for, he's in line for a Hall of Fame inductee. I mean, he plays a couple of more years. I mean, he's a guy that has 2,100 hits, over 2,100. He has 372 home runs, over 1,200 RBI. So he's right there in the Hall of Fame conversation. He has, it's 7 All-Star appearances. MVP back in 2022, his best year for the Cardinals. He batted .317 that year with a .404 on base, 35 homers at 115 RBI. I mean, he was fantastic and won the MVP. Remember, that year's also third was Nolan Arenado, but 2022 was a special year. Cardinals, unfortunately, could not make some big noise in the playoffs. We saw Albert Pujols there, of course, what he did. That was a fun year indeed. But Paul Goldschmidt, guy definitely remembered for the Cardinals with a great career. And potentially, we might see him as a Red Jacket wearer at some point down the road as well. But get to the highlights to the game. Early, it was the Yankees taking effect and playing well early on against the St. Louis Cardinals. Andre Pallante was a 1-0 game. Then Jazz Chisholm came to the plate for the New York Yankees and did some damage.
Chisholm rocks that to right field, and that is gone. A laser out to right for Jazz Chisholm Jr. His 21st of the season, and the Yankees have put up a 3 spot in the first.
So, 2-run blast for Jazz Chisholm. Again, in that first inning, it was 3-0, then 4-0. Finally, the Cardinals come to life in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mason Wynn at the plate, and Cardinals finally get on the board.
That one over first. That'll be a base hit. Here comes Nootbaar around third. Mason on his way to second with a double. The Cardinals are on the board.
All right, so Cardinals get on the board. Driving in a run later on was Victor Scott, but a little too late as the Cardinals fall last night to the New York Yankees. Look, we saw some spunk late, right? 2 runs in the 7th, a run in the 6th, but just those early runs against Andre Palante. His ERA is over 5 now. 5 innings, 4 runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks, giving up, again, a 5.04 ERA. The bullpen was pretty good for the Cardinals, but how about Pedro Pajes in a little 8-9 game hitting string now? But I want to mention this as well. 2 guys not in the lineup, Wilson Contreras and Brendan Donovan, and those guys banged up a little bit. Okay, both of those guys over the last couple of games has been in or out, in and out. Why do the Cardinals keep doing this? Can I ask you this real quick? Why do they keep doing this? We keep, trying to. We did this with Arenado, another guy. I mean, plenty of examples now. Instead of putting guys on the IL for 10 days, get them right, get them healthy. But no, we got to try to fight through the injury, and then we end up making it worse. We draw it out for multiple weeks. In a game, out of game, sit 2, sit 3, sit 4. Okay, now we're good for a game. Just let them get healthy. Why do we do this? Donovan, again, he's missed several games of late. Look, he had a big hit the other day. He came in off the bench, helped the Cardinals get the win. That was great. But can we just get him healthy, get him right? We have other guys to look at. Look, we can play Gorman. We can play JC. We can play some of these guys. Same thing with Contreras. Burleson can play first. Even Herrera or Gorman could play first if need be. I just don't get it. Why we keep doing that? The Cardinals, you think at some point they would learn their lesson, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, but they lose. Final 4-3 last night. So let's look at the wild card standings. The Cardinals, 3.5 games out because New York Mets continue to scuffle. The Reds lost last night against the Brewers. We'll get into that. But 3.5 out are the Birds. They're 1 game under 500, 61 and 62 on the season. You still give them a chance? You give them a chance? Look, yes, I do. I give them a chance to be able to make the playoffs. Their offense has not been good. Their pitching has been up and down. Obviously, they're working on some tough workloads with guys like Liberatore has been fighting it. They'll get a little bit of reinforcements in September, but I'll be honest, I'm not feeling great about it. They got a chance, and you just wanted to continue to fight. And look, if they play meaningful baseball down the stretch in September and get a chance, I'm all for it. And if they could make the playoffs, it's great. Let these guys get a little bit of experience. I just don't expect it, and I don't expect them to do anything if they get in. But hey, playing with house money, if you make it, great. Kind of like what the St. Louis Blues did this year. You didn't really expect it. They got in. They made a little noise. They had fun. They got experience. They got the young guys in there. That's great. Great for the future, and that's kind of how my thoughts on the Cardinals right now. But 3.5 out, they got some work to do as well. But before we go to break, let's whip around Major League Baseball here real quick. How about, to me, the most compelling series right now this weekend, the Dodgers and the Padres. Those two teams going after it, fighting for first place, battling back and forth. The Dodgers have scuffled a little bit. The Padres playing a little bit better. They were in first place, but in L.A. last night, and it was Teoscar Hernandez coming up with a big at-bat in the 7th inning.
Scalded to center field. Merrill's going back. He's at the wall. There's the insurance. Teoscar Hernandez, an opposite field blast, and it's 3-1.
Courtesy of the Dodgers TV network, so 3-1. They hang on. They get the victory. 3-2 the final last night against the Padres. So they're tied for first between those two teams. Again, a compelling series. Who can find a way to win the series, get out on top? Do you give the Padres a chance with the bullpen? All the moves that they made at the trade deadline, the Dodgers still battling with some injuries. So it'll be interesting. That's a compelling series. I'm interested into that this weekend. I'll be definitely tuning in and out of that series. The Padres and the Dodgers here this weekend fighting for first. The other team, obviously, for the wild card. All right, how about another team? The team leading baseball and in the Central Division as well, the Milwaukee Brewers. They just keep on winning. This team was down by 7 runs. 7 runs to the Cincinnati Reds, but, they're playing at Great American Small Park in Cincinnati, the Great American Ballpark. That's what they call it. But Christian Yelich coming up big last night for the Brew Crew.
Yelich smokes that one to left. Back goes Hayes. At the wall. Gone! Have a night, Yelly. Christian Yelich. 4 for 4. 5 RBIs. 2 homers. A double. A single.
Christian Yelich just a triple away from the cycle. The 2 homers last night, 4 ribs. I mean, had a ball game. And down by 7 runs. They come back to win against the Reds. 10-8 the final. And the Brewers match a franchise record. 13 wins in a row. Very impressive for the Brew Crew. And remember, okay, quick trivia question. Who has the most wins in this, new era after the new century, okay? 21st century. Who has the most winning streak, the longest winning streak in Major League Baseball? It happened just a few years ago. The St. Louis Cardinals was 17. That's the longest winning streak over the past, decade plus in baseball. But the Brewers now at 13. Impressive, and they just keep on winning, don't they? Man, how about the Brew Crew? All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the top 10 football list that SEMO Ball put out in Co-League. Get our thoughts on that. Stay with us. SEMO Scramble continuing next. Welcome back, SEMO ESPN Radio. It's the SEMO Scramble, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM. Rusty Hendricks here with you, and wanted to bring your attention to a good article. I'll tell you what, the last couple of weeks, SEMO Ball's done a good job putting out content. I want to give credit to Cole Lee, Caden Carper. They just had, about a week ago, they put out some of the top players over the past decade that we have seen in football. That was a really interesting read, and I agreed with a lot of that. Some great players. Bring you back some of the all-time greats that have come in and played throughout the past decade or so. So that's a good read if you haven't checked that out. And now, just released yesterday, Cole Lee put out the 2025 preseason SEMO Ball Top 10. Okay? So coming off from last year a little bit and just looking into this year as well. The number 1 team he has is Jackson. That one, understood, makes sense. I like it. Their team coming back. They had a 9-3 record last year, the Jackson Indians. And I agree with it. Look, their line is great with Bryson Wessel, Braden Harris, already some big D1 talent there that's already committed to some great Iowa State. For West, I mean, look, Braden Harris as well. Look, Drew Parsons returns as their top quarterback. They still have, to me, one of the best running backs, Jalen Hampton. Maybe not the best, but one of the best. A great speedster, and he's really bulked up, and guy's going to be more in between the tackles this year as well. But Jackson, look, you look at their schedule, the first 3 games are going to define them this year. Cardinal Ritter at home, August the 29th. That'll be the first week for football. On the road against Ballard County in Louisville, Kentucky in week 2. Week 3 at Edwardsville, Illinois. Those 3 are going to define. And, I could potentially see the Jackson Indians 0-3. Potentially. I think they're going to at least win 1, maybe 2, though, is what my projection would be of those first 3 games. I don't see them winning all 3. So, could Jackson be a 10-2 team this year? Yeah, I think that's kind of where they rely. But when it comes to the SEMO Conference and the last couple I think they're going to take care of business. They're going to be, again, one of the most impressive teams this year, in my opinion. Jackson, number 1, no qualms there. Number 2, Cape Central. I like it. They return Keyshawn Boyd. In my opinion, the number 1 running back coming back. They've Jathan Spain committed to SEMO as a tight end. They have a good core coming back. They lost some guys. Obviously, trying to figure out their quarterback situation. That'll be important for Cape Central. Can they get the quarterback situation? Well, look, they're going to be run heavy. Run heavy on offense. Rely on Keyshawn Boyd. But that'll be fun watching them. And then Perryville is number 3. I like that. Perryville, number 3, Dexter 4. And I think potentially you could have flip-flopped those two teams, but I do agree Perryville should be 3. 10-2 last year. They have a lot of guys coming back. Barrett Wheeler, Cade Lucky as a quarterback, and then Drew Leichel, who committed to Western Illinois. I mean, he may be the best defender in the area. Those kind of trio of guys, plus everybody they kind of have coming back at Perryville, who is not a powerhouse of football, but the last couple of years they've been really solid. I like that. Dexter, again, they're going to have a good year. They lost some guys, but they still have a good group back. They're going to be solid as well. Dexter, 11-1 last year. I don't know if they have quite the season they had last year, but they're going to be good. Bluff 5s, I'm okay with that. I mean, maybe drop them down a little bit farther, but look, they're a bigger school. They're going to have talent, and they're going to have to find a quarterback, though. That's the biggest question mark for Bluff. They lose Jay Edmondson. Who's going to be their quarterback this year? But they're going to have skill position guys. They're going to score. They always do. Scott City with Chaffee, number 6. I think this is a team that could move up. With Chaffee coming in this year, I think they're going to be a little bit of a stronger program. Where they're going to be as far as what class, I'm not 100% sure. But Rustin Underwood at halfback. Ty Atkins coming from Chaffee, great defender. They're going to be fast. They're going to be tough. They're going to be deep. So that's why I like Scott City them to move up at some point this year, maybe be in the top 5 at some point. St. Vincent, they're at 7. I don't know if they'll stay there. They had a great year last year, but they lost a lot. Lost a lot of senior leadership from last year. What a year that they had, though, St. Vincent. That's a team. Sykeston at number 8. I think they could move up a little bit higher. They have a good core coming back. Pierce Baker was a pretty good quarterback for them. Keon Atkins. Kenneth Holcomb is a pretty good running back as well. The key for them, though, is their line. Their offensive-defensive line. Can they have success there? If they do, they're going to have some success because they have some skill position players that are pretty good. So Sykeston 3-7 last year. I look for them to be around closer to 500 this year. I'm hoping for that, for them to get back a little bit better. Jim May, another year into his era at Sykeston. That'll be interesting to see what he can do. Hayti at 9, and then East Prairie at 10. I really like East Prairie. I would have them higher than Hayti, but I like East Prairie. 8-3 last year. Tavion Ware. He's a good running back. I mentioned Keyshawn Boyd. How about Tavion Ware? So, again, pretty good list there. I like the list there from Cole Lee. He is plugged in. He even used a special little formula to kind of figure that out. I like it for Cole Lee. Largely, I agree with what he had to say there. Look, it's preseason. If you don't agree with it, your team's not on there. It's preseason. It's a guess. It's an estimate. It's a projection. We don't know yet. Okay, we'll find out. Give us a couple of weeks through the season, then you can start seeing teams move in and out. But I like it. I love that Cole does this throughout the year. Does that the preseason, then the regular season as far as the top 10 list per week. He does a good job with that. And again, just fun. And we'll come out here in I think it's 2 weeks from now. We're going to come out with our high school football preseason show. We'll come out with that here coming up in a couple of weeks here on the SEMO Scramble, so that'll be a lot of fun. We'll help preview, get some coaches, maybe even some players on, and talk about that. But excited, football is coming, folks. Football is coming. We'll talk a little Mizzou football as we go along. Maybe next week we'll get into Mizzou, but SEMO football we'll talk about with John Holt coming up here in just a few minutes. You want to stay tuned for that, get an idea about the SEMO football team. But first, before we get into that, want to talk a little SEMO soccer. Their opener on Thursday night had a good start to the game, but ended up falling to Evansville 4-3. But it was look. They scored some goals. Justine Nelson looked great. The Jackson native, 2 goals in the game. And the first game in the John Klein era for SEMO soccer. Just didn't quite go the way. Look, they had a rough year last year with SEMO, but this to me was a positive game. They showed spunk. They showed progress on both sides of the ball, and I look for SEMO to be improved. Are they going to be a juggernaut in the OVC? No. Picked 9th in the OVC this year, but I think they can be better, and I'm excited what John Klein can do with this squad, and we hope that we see progress from the SEMO soccer team. So I will mention this as well. There was a new signee, so a new player. He's not on the current roster. You go online, it's not on there, but just signed a player locally, and I won't mention a name because I was asked not to, but hey, some big news coming up. SEMO Soccer, again, a local player just added to the roster, and we're excited for that as well. That'll be coming out within the next week. So they play their next game on Sunday at Belmont, then on Thursday at SIU, back at home not until August the 28th against Missouri State. So, final thing before we go to break, we're going to talk to John Holt. It was announced this week that the Tennessee Tech is going to be leaving the OVC. And, you know, when they make these decisions, a lot of it has to do with football or basketball or some bigger name sports, that the revenue-generating sports, right? Why it happened, don't know 100% sure, but Eric Shawn on the Sports Huddle the other day had the play-by-play voice for the Golden Eagles and Mr. Brazzano on, and he talked about his opinion, his thoughts on how it came to place, and why maybe it made sense for Tennessee Tech. So we'll get into a little bit later in the show. We'll talk to Kyle Swartz to get his thoughts on the state of the OVC, right? I wanted to have him on to talk about that. But first, was it a surprise? Was it expected? We'll find out. Mr. Brazzano coming on the show with Eric. These were his thoughts, the play-by-play voice of Tennessee Tech, the Golden Eagles, on how it came about the decision was made.
From a staff perspective, we received an email yesterday of a mandatory meeting at 1:45, and there was a lot of, hey, what's this about? What do we have going on? We're all meeting as a staff. That kind of seems like a unique situation. So I think although there might have been some rumors from years past, the actual here and now of it certainly came as a surprise to, I think, a lot of people to have it happen and have it happen this quickly.
So he says it's a surprise for that to happen. So why, though? Why Tennessee Tech leaving? This is what his thoughts are. Again, the play-by-play voice of Tennessee Tech. His thoughts, his opinion, doesn't know for sure. Again, doesn't necessarily have the insight, but his opinion on why it happened.
I think that a lot of the fans really craved that, really wanted to have some of those rivalries with schools from Tennessee, with schools from Alabama, with schools from North and South Carolina. And I think that was a driving force, because if you look at the fan reaction of this, I mean, there's, a difference from people in the department and coaches and administration. But from the fan perspective, everything you've seen on social media, everything you've seen and heard here around Cookeville is just overwhelmingly positive for this move. So I think that there's a lot of excitement because of the footprint of where a lot of these schools are located in the Southern Conference.
Interesting. So, again, his thoughts are, because of the way the teams are aligned geographically, one of the biggest reasons, and building those rivalries, and that sort of thing, one of the big reasons why Tech is going to be leaving. But Tennessee Tech expected this year to be one of the top teams in the OVC for football, UT Martin, and SEMO. Top three. Those three teams, top three preseason in the football poll. Interesting. And again, they're having some upgrades at Tucker Stadium in Tennessee Tech as well. But interesting news that came out. We'll talk more about it coming up. But next, let's talk to John Holt, the new offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for SEMO. Talking to him next. Welcome back. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio. That's 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. And the place to go for SEMO Athletics right here and on Real Rock 99.3. And Eric Sean, the voice of the Red Hawks, will be gearing up, ready to go for some SEMO football here coming up. It's coming up quickly, folks. And happy to be joined now on our phone lines with the new OC quarterbacks coach and John Holt joins us now. Coach, how we doing?
Doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Look, I mentioned at the top of the show. Look, I'm a father, and I just have my first and only daughter. Okay, she's turning 1 today, so we're having a little birthday party get together. She's gonna do a little smash cake. So I'm riding high today because it's her first birthday.
Yeah, that's awesome. Happy birthday.
All right, thank you. So, first off, again, John Holt with us, new OC for the SEMO Red Hawks football team. I wanted to take us back a little bit, how you ended up at SEMO. I'm assuming Coach Took gave you a call and tried to persuade you, hey, come on to SEMO. So, why did SEMO become a fit for you? What made the decision for you to come here to Southeast Missouri State?
Yeah, so life in football is all about relationships, as you know. And I had a great relationship with Coach Ricky Kuhn. We'd worked together before. Over the years, I'd gotten to know Coach Took off and on, just through Coach Kuhn. So when this position came up, Coach Took brought me in, and I interviewed for the spot, met the staff, those type things. And I had known this before, but during the interview, it was clear to me that Coach Took and myself were in, great alignment on our football values, really on our life values. And I love that SEMO football is just here to build better men. And so we share that. That's why I coach also. I want to make an impact on those guys, and so it was just a great fit.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. Camp has been going full steam ahead. Guys getting ready for the season. A lot of new faces for SEMO football. I've been following Caden Carper. He does a lot of work for the Missourian newspaper, talking about some of the scrimmages, said that, hey, the passing game looking sharp, that wide receivers are emerging, things of that nature. But in your opinion, how has the offense looked in camp so far?
Yes, I think we've done well, and I think we're building each day, and I think we're on track for sure.
One of the aspects as well I wanted to ask you about was the offensive line. It's a new look. I mean, I think only one starter back from last year. A lot of guys shifting in and out. It's definitely mixed match coming in. Obviously, that was something that this team struggled at times with a year ago. So can the offensive line be more of a strength this year for this team, and how are they looking?
Yeah, so definitely. Well, I will definitely tell you from spring to now, we have a different offensive line, even though we have some of the same players we had in spring. And, those guys have really put their hard hat on and just tried to work each day. And I think, we're developing and gelling, and I think chemistry's huge for them, and I see that coming together for them. Coach Orchard's done a good job of pushing those guys. And, during the off season or past spring when we got into that May recruiting, we were able to add some depth. So that gives us some assurance up front. But there's still a lot of unknown. I mean, we've got to go prove it in games and those type things, but we're definitely working towards that. I'm excited to see these guys.
Another new guy this year and a quarterback that came in Jax Leatherwood, a big, tall guy. I mean, he can sling it. He seems to be, really smart as well, knowledgeable. But how has he and you kind of come together, really started to work? And again, him trying to understand what you want to happen, what you want to do, the playbook, and all that coming together. How have you two mixed and gelled together and try to just continue to learn on the fly together here this year?
Yeah, so we've tried to just build our relationship and our bond and get to know each other, number one, because our offense is going to be he and I working together to help him be successful. And, we've tweaked things to make sure our game plan fits him. He's really good at doing what we're asking him to do. Okay, so trying to make those choices and trying to make us explosive, but also knowing the situation and knowing how we should operate the situation. So, I think he's getting better each day. Like you said, he's got a big stature. I've never coached a quarterback like him. There's a lot of quarterback coaches in the country who haven't, had the pleasure of coaching a guy like Jax. But, to me, Jax is more than just a big, tall, strong quarterback. He is a thinker. He's a good young man. He's a great part of our team.
So we saw, previous offensive coordinator and Jeremy McDowell over the past couple of years really sling it. Now, look, they had a strength in Paxton DeLorean at quarterback. They used that as a strength. Knowing Coach Tuke, he's a guy that loves to win in the trenches, loves to run the football. I want to know your philosophy, though, on maybe that balance. What is your ideal balance on offense as far as passing and running and how that needs to look in your opinion?
Yeah, so I would love to be a balanced attack and be 50-50 in every game, but I think you do have to take what the defense gives you and be smart about that. At the end of the day, running the football, passing the football, whatever you're trying to accomplish, it does start up front. And if you can't win in the trenches, you're not going to be successful at either. So, we want to use that strength, but it's going to be up to the guys up front to kind of set the tone for us, whether we're throwing or passing. We want to be more balanced this year, of course, but we're going to try to take what the defense gives us and, move the football the way that our players can. When I think about offense and football, I think it's players first, formations and motion second, and plays are third.
So, and kind of again, bouncing off of that, how would you describe your style as an OC, kind of alluding a little bit to that, how formations would be and that sort of thing, just how you want your team to play, how you want them to think. What is your style on offense that you like to run?
Yeah, so something that we're really ingraining, and Coach Tuke has probably done this forever since he's ran the program, but the fundamentals of just taking care of the football, playing hard, making sure you've got great footwork, coaching guys in their eyes, because at the end of the day, players will go make plays for you. So my style is just an extension of what our players do well. We've got some receivers that we're interested in targeting. I think we've got a stable full of running backs that are capable. I think that Jax is able to say, hey, here's where I need to get it to our tight end or our running backs or receivers. And, that's kind of our style. We want to get it to our playmakers and let them go make plays. Sometimes a simple play is the best play because our guys can go be explosive off of that. When you turn on our film or come to our game, I want you to see guys that are playing extremely hard with good fundamentals.
And you mentioned a little bit about your running back room. How impressive is that? Obviously, Brown coming back. Hopefully, he's a guy, keep him healthy all year, but he has a lot of talent, young guy. And again, you mentioned some good running back room. How do you like your running backs this year and how they could show some success?
So I think that's where we're the deepest on offense, and I do think that each guy has different qualities. There's greatness in all of them. I think it's going to be a good change of pace to show defenses. And, I've got trust in the depth of that room. I mean, it's not just the first guy or second guy. I think we've got a lot of guys that are capable, and I'm excited to give them the football.
Going back to kind of your resume a little bit here, John, again, talking things over with John Holt, the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach there at SEMO. Spent last year at Lakewood High School. You spent some time all around, though, offensive coordinator at Dodge City Community College. You were at Georgia State there for a bit, WCU, and then, of course, as a player at Appalachian State. So I guess what are some of the things, the different stops that you have gathered, that you've learned, that you've taken with you, some of the core values of John Holt?
Yeah, so my core values start with my family, and I'm from a blue-collar, hard-working family and just learned to do the right thing. But then I went and played for Coach Jerry Moore, who's a college football Hall of Famer, and, then I coached for Coach Jerry Moore for 4 years, and, he just instilled in me that while we're doing it and how you do it the right way. And so I've taken that everywhere I've been. Our style everywhere I've been has been, hey, if we can get the most effort out of guys and we can play with fundamentals, we'll be good. And we have been when we've done that. Everywhere I've been, though, I've had an enjoyable experience, and I think it's because I've been surrounded by great people. I mean, just really good people throughout my career, really good players who are good people. And, that's kind of been the span of my career, and it's no different here at SEMO. I'm so excited to come to work and be able to get around these players and these coaches, and it's a real good situation for me every day.
How excited are you to get things started August the 30th against Arkansas State?
Yeah, so as a football coach, the opening day and the opening weekend is kind of like that little bit of time before Christmas. So we're starting to feel that and ramping up. And, the cool thing about football is you go through different seasons. You start and you're in winter workouts and recruiting, and then you move to spring ball, and then you're back in recruiting, and then you go to summer workouts and those type things. We've been in camp season, but the real season is about to come, and so that's the time that you've really put all this work in to get to. And I'm so excited to get in that first game and watch these guys perform, and really excited just to see what we can do, because we're very unproven on offense. We've got a lot of new faces, including myself, and we've got a lot to prove. So I'm excited to be able to go out and do that.
Absolutely, and we're excited as well, and we hope that you guys can stay healthy and ready to go for Arkansas State. Coach, really appreciate the time for joining us this morning, and just good luck the rest of the way.
I appreciate you. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Coach. That is John Holt. Appreciate him for joining us, the OC of the SEMO football team. We're talking things over with Kyle Schwartz. He is the Associate Commissioner for Strategic Communications for the Ohio Valley Conference. Get his thoughts on Tennessee Tech and the football season coming up. Get his thoughts on that as well. Stay with us. SEMO Scramble coming up next. Welcome back in. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio. That's 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and always online at SEMOESPN.com. And happy to be joined now on our phone line by Kyle Schwartz, the Associate Commissioner for Strategic Communications for the Ohio Valley Conference. Kyle, good morning. How we doing?
Good morning, Rusty. I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. So I guess, first of all, I wanted to ask it's a long title, Associate Commissioner for Strategic Communication. What does it mean? What is your role within the OVC?
I just wanted to see on my business card if I could get it down to a second line, just to see how long it could be.
Yeah.
Anything communication, media related. Obviously, I work with our media partners and coordinate interviews and publicity things, social media, website. Work with our schools communication directors and our marketing and branding people. So all those kind of things that fall under one category. And I've been at the OVC for 19 years now, so sometimes it's even things that aren't quite necessarily communications that kind of fall under there, but it's been good, and I enjoy all the little different things I get to do.
So you get to oversee social media. Boy, that's got to be fun.
Well, some days you have to know when to not look at what's the comments and whatever, but I will say this, we got a good team with us, and I enjoy sharing our student-athlete stories. And,
yeah.
There's so many great student-athletes in this conference who accomplish a lot more than what you see on the field. So our schools all have really good marketing and communications people who try to get that content out there. So we try to amplify those messages as much as we can, too.
All right, one of the reasons, obviously, we wanted to have you on is because of the news that came out this past week about Tennessee Tech. Tech is planning to leave the OVC. He's going to play out this year, then move on, go to the Southern Conference. And I wanted to play you this clip real quick. This was from their play-by-play guy for the Golden Eagles. And this was him just speculating his thoughts, opinion on why potentially Tennessee Tech made the move, and I wanted to get your reaction to it. So just hang tight, listen to this.
I think that a lot of the fans really craved that, really wanted to have some of those rivalries with schools from Tennessee, with schools from Alabama, with schools from North and South Carolina. And I think that was a driving force, because if you look at the fan reaction of this, I mean, there's, a difference from people in the department and coaches and administration. But from the fan perspective, everything you've seen on social media, everything you've seen and heard here around Cookeville is just overwhelmingly positive for this move. So I think that there's a lot of excitement because of the footprint of where a lot of these schools are located in the Southern Conference.
So I guess I wanted to have you react to that again. That was the play-by-play man for Tennessee Tech, his thoughts on potentially the move, talking about, hey, rivalry aspect, the footprint closer to home, not as long a travel, that sort of thing. But when the news came out about Tennessee Tech, I want to do, again, your reaction about that and just the overall, what else you can tell us about the move.
Sure, and this is an unprecedented time in college athletics, right? And with change, and I mean, I guess I cannot disagree with what Dylan was saying there. And I think circumstances and priorities change for every school, over whether that's 5 years, 10 years, 75 years, or however. And I think geography and rivalries are important for every school, and I would say that is super important for the other 10 OVC schools that we have now. And I also believe our footprint. If you're on one of the outlier sides, maybe it's a little different than people and more in the middle of the footprint, but I would argue that the OVC's footprint is as good as any conference in the country right now.
So, obviously, the news came out. It's kind of a bittersweet moment. Obviously, a team that's leaving the conference, it can be pros and cons on both sides, but again, I'm assuming this has been in the works for a little bit, but what else can you tell us about the move, how it came about, what you can share, right, about that move and just about Tennessee Tech, again, continuing to play this year in the OVC?
Well, sure. You never want to lose one of your valued institutions, and they've been a good member for a long time, and we're going to treat them just like all of our other teams this academic year. Nothing's going to change there. But this obviously it's something that's happened before, so I think we've evolved as a conference now in our 78th year, and we'll continue to evolve. And I know that some of the short-term reaction may have been, well, this has happened before, and obviously around the 2020-21 era time frame, this did happen. But I know if people do sort of kind of forget that we also added 4 schools since the last time that a member school left, and of that, I think great added value. One of those schools, shared the OVC Commissioners Cup 2 years ago for their athletic success on the field. So Little Rock, and they came in and competed right away. And then we had 2 other schools who Lindenwood and USI who reclassified from Division II, and then over the last 2 years they've won our institutional academic award for not only on the field but achieving in the classroom. And we also had Western Illinois, who's done quite well. So we've had in the last 5 years added 4 schools who have done really well, and I still think we're very united and determined. And if there's a member out there that makes sense, we'll go find that and add some more schools in the future.
So in terms of the strength of the conference right now, how would you describe that? I mean, how does the OVC look like now and going forward?
Yeah, I think what the key things for our schools right now, shared values and alignment. I think our schools are all similar size. They have similar funding from their institutions. They basically have the same amount of sports they sponsor, give or take different schools here. And as I sort of referenced after the comment at the beginning, regionally, I think our footprint, it allows for easy travel, not for our teams, but also for our fans. It allows our fans to go from Cape Girardeau to Evansville or to Martin, Tennessee, or Nashville or to Macomb, Illinois, St. Charles, Missouri, pretty easily. So I think that's really important. If you look at the map, the fans want to travel, the teams want to travel and be back home to go to class. And I think competitive balance is something that's really important. And, last academic year, when you include, we have some affiliates in some of our sports. we had 12 different schools win at least one OVC championship last year. So I think that proves to people that you can come in and make a difference, and you can win in the OVC right away in one of the sports that you do well, right? So those are the ones that I think the really advantages that we have going for us right now, and will continue to be advantages for our member schools.
Again, talking things over with Kyle Schwartz of the Ohio Valley Conference, Associate Commissioner for Strategic Communications. So, Kyle, what does the future of the OVC look like? If you, number one, are you looking to add more schools? And if so, what do you look for a school and to add? What are some of those things that need to align with the Ohio Valley Conference for that to happen?
Right. Well, you're always focused on membership growth, and that's if you have 7 schools, 11 schools, 12. If you're a conference with 16, you're never not looking at that kind of thing, even if you think you have quote unquote the right number. But I think with any type of intentional growth, you're not looking just to fill a vacancy. If somebody left, we got to add somebody tomorrow. That's not what it's about. It's strategic. You want to strengthen your conference competitively and geographically. So, the board presidents, when they get together and with our commissioner and they're looking at schools, it's not just, do they have this, are they good in this sport, or do they even have this sport? But, okay, they fit in overall very well, and can they compete right away? Will they be able to fund these sports and these scholarships? And obviously, as I mentioned at the top, the changes with the House settlement and NCAA rules, can they provide other benefits for their student athletes? Because at the end of the day, it's all about the student athlete experience and making sure they have great competitive experiences and great championship experiences. So I don't think there's they need to check this box, and that box. It's a whole package when you're looking at a school. And if 10's the right number going forward for the OVC, great. If there's another school out there, or 2 or 3 schools, then that's great too. So you don't want to box yourself into a corner. You're looking at the whole picture when you're looking at potential members.
Okay, so open to different things. So you're not saying hey, we got to have another school that has football. We got to have another school that is not a Division II, or we got to have another Division I already established school. Not some of those things, but you're open to different aspects, right?
Exactly. I think a long time ago it was if you didn't have football, I'm talking 15 plus years ago, we're not going to take it because we don't have football. Those times have changed when we've had some membership shift. Some schools have football, some don't. Just how they fit. And one of the other advantages, I think we've taken some really distinct approaches to benefit our schools. The OVC Big South Football Association being one of those, bringing Gardner Webb and Charleston Southern in to play with our schools, and that's been a great thing the last 3 years. And I think that's a strong part for our football. So if there's a school out there that doesn't play football, we still have this great football association that really takes care of our football playing schools. So yeah, if there's not one set thing that says this is the team for us, we're very open to any member that brings that value we're looking for.
Speaking of football, it's coming. It's coming quickly the next couple of weeks. So the top 3 teams projected in the OVC, Tennessee Tech, the aforementioned Tennessee Tech, picked first, UT Martin second, and SEMO third. How does the conference look like right now for football, the strength, and how excited are you for that to get going? What are we looking like, in your opinion, for the football season?
Yeah, you joked about communications and social media. I always tell our coaches, they vote in these preseason polls. They're probably the most meaningless preseason polls because you don't know now in the transfer portal era who's on what team. What you can see, though, in the teams you just mentioned, it's respect of their coaches and what they've done. Obviously, Tennessee Tech, they brought back a lot, got a really good transfer quarterback, so that's why people are talking about them. And if you're talking about Southeast Missouri, Coach Tuke has done a tremendous job, and what they've done on the field, sharing a part of the championship last year, getting the AQ, going to the playoffs, and UT Martin, the same thing, Jason Simpson and his 20 years there has just really elevated that program. So you see these teams, they're respecting, hey, these are good coaches, we think they're going to be good. But if your team's 4 through 9, I wouldn't put any of those teams, doubt any of those teams. I think they could put 3 teams into the playoffs last year, which we hadn't done for 11 years. So you got to win non-conference games. That's important. Win those games and then do well in your conference games.
Last couple of things here with Kyle Schwartz. Hey, Kyle, you spent some time at SEMO. You got your master's degree at Southeast Missouri State. I think you were there from 2000 2002. graduating with honors, by the way. So your time at SEMO, what are some memories that come to mind there, and just what you can kind of tell us about your time with the SEMO Redhawks?
Yeah, people sometimes ask me what's changed in my job over now 20-plus years. Like, things were different in 2000, like I think we launched our first website, right, as I first got to
nice.
to that job. And we had a fax machine in our office for the years I was there. So that was my first, job out of college, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And Ron Hines, the former sports information director, gave me the chance. And I think 2 weeks in, I said, this is what I want to do. And it was just everything that I thought I wanted to do with a job. And I had an unbelievable 2 years there as a Red Hawk, and just he allowed me to do a lot of things, a lot of responsibility. Like, here, he didn't micromanage, and that's how I learned. And that was over 25 years ago, and it's really led me to another job, and then which led me to the job at the OVC. So I cannot say enough about my time at Southeast Missouri.
Awesome stuff, Kyle. Really appreciate the time this morning. Thanks so much for being able to come on and talk to us this morning. Tell us what you could about again, Tennessee Tech, and about the conference as a whole and that sort of thing. So again, appreciate the time this morning. Thanks so much, and we look forward to another good year. And of course, got to end on this. SEMO's had their success. That OVC Commissioner's Cup, got to mention that here as we end. That's kind of has been a good thing for the Red Hawks over the last several years, and hopefully they can do that again this year.
3 of the last 5 they've taken home, and you get points for every championship and doing well. And Southeast has had the formula and really done good in all their sports, which is what that award symbolizes. So very proud of what they've accomplished, and they've really been successful across the board.
Awesome. Kyle, thanks so much. I appreciate it, and just have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thanks, Rusty.
All right, that is Kyle Schwartz, again, the Associate Commissioner for Strategic Communications, and we appreciate him for joining us this morning on the SEMO Scramble. So, look, I talked about the strength of the conference. He still feels good about it, talks about what the future looks like, not going to be pigeonholed into a certain thing, could add one, could add multiple teams, but looking to add. And look, Kyle's not going to come on and say, hey, this is what the plan is. This is what we're going to do. These are the schools. He's not going to come on and say that, right? But I appreciate him, the willingness to talk to us. Again, look, if you're a fan of the OVC for SEMO, it is frustrating. You see some of those teams leaving, teams that you have built rivalries with, and it's frustrating. And then you look at, okay, you start thinking, do we need to leave? Are we safe here? Are we going to be, we think about the old game, are we going to be left without a seat at the table, right? So those things come to mind, but we hope that the OVC, that they're going to be working diligently, and we hope that they can find another partner or 2 or 3 and make it better. And I know he mentioned, look, it's not necessarily got to have a football school, but I do think it's got to be a priority. It's got to be a priority to have another football school come in and be part of the OVC. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But just, again, interesting there. And I appreciate Kyle for coming on. Hopefully you enjoyed that interview as well. But definitely time will tell with the OVC. But we'll see. We will see what happens for sure. But we hope, and I hope, that, I think for right now, I think this is a good conference that the SEMO should stick with. In my opinion, I look, some people saying, hey, you need to leave, get out, go. What are you going to go? Where are you going? What are you doing? To me right now, look, this is a competitive for SEMO. They can compete in all sports. They can have success. Go dominate. Go out there and dominate in the OVC and do what you need to do. And it's a one bid league. And hey, get your opportunity to go and make the playoffs and have some noise there. So for right now, I think SEMO, head down to the grindstone, keep working, and you just hope they can be involved in the process too with the OVC and those decision makers and help lead that way. But again, is it a lack of leadership as a whole? I don't know about that, but again, it's tough. It's frustrating that we've seen some teams over the past couple of years leave. We just hope that it can improve in the future as well. But again, folks, that'll do it here from the SEMO Scramble. Rusty Hendricks saying so long for the final time. Thanks so much. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go. I'm going to have some fun with my family today. Hope you will too. And again, happy birthday to Raina. First birthday for my daughter Raina today. Hope she has a good one. So, folks, have a good day. It's the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Take care, everybody.
You've been listening to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 for a dash of hometown pride right here on the SEMO Scramble. Yes, don't miss the latest news, scores, and stories that matter most to local sports enthusiasts from the Blue Heel and beyond. Right here on SEMO ESPN 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, the SEMO ESPN app, and at SEMOESPN.com.